good morning. Welcome to your morning cup of Joe. Today I want to talk about the latest book I've been reading. It's called Presence by Amy Cuddy. So what exactly is presence? Well, I think one of my favorite writers, Walt Whitman, sums it up best. We convince by our presence. So one personal example I've experienced lately about presence is presence happens when I'm behind my camera rig in public. In the beginning, I was extremely self-conscious. Now it's the opposite because most people think that guy must be someone. And they actually introduce themselves to me quite often afterwards. So one of the exercises I've been doing lately is imagining being bold. So I like big bass drums. I like that thunderclap that just goes right through you that happens overhead. The sounds at the end of a fireworks display during the grand finale that just goes boom. That's what I try to imagine when I want to be bold. It's the equivalent of a sumo wrestler in their stance. It's just powerful and bold and immovable. That's what I think of when I read this book. So I put myself in that space. And I declare to myself, I will walk through this weekend being bold. And this is kind of silly, and again, it's really pushed me through my comfort zones here. And I want you to try this at home if you dare. But before a negotiation for a raise, or perhaps you're going to give a presentation, you're in a position where you're going to need confidence and you're going to need the power of presence. Just adopt the superhero pose and declare your intentions. I am going to walk boldly through my weekend and nothing's going to stop me. Yet it will be on the foundation of humility. Failure is the worst thing that can happen. And I know failure is a bitter pill to swallow. But there are far worse things, and I've overcome failure many times before. And there you have it. All right, well then, I gotta admit that was one of the most difficult and excruciating things I've ever been through in my life. But I promised myself I would plow forward, get it done. If I didn't do that book any justice, do yourself a favor, pick it up. There's a lot of great information in there, and it can help you in your everyday life, your personal life, and your professional life, as well as other applications. So being on the subject of presence and boldness, it reminded me of one of my favorites, if not my favorite book of all time, The Tropic of Cancer by Henry Miller. Now this book is not for everybody. It was one of those banned books for years, but this guy is a man's man and a writer's writer. And I'm going to read about 3/4 of the way down a sentence or two, which made me just get hooked from the beginning and made me realize what it really is to live boldly and freely. So let me get the old specs and I'll wrap this thing up. And I will read a quick sentence here. He says, I have no money, no resources, no hopes. I am the happiest man alive. That hit home, and again, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's my example of boldness and living free. So thank you kindly for putting up with this excruciating exercise. I promised I'd do it. I don't know how it's going to come out. Made a commitment and I'm following through. Well, I guess there's one thing left to do, and that's to boldly start my weekend. Have a great one, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.